Morning everyone, if you are watching and listening, hello. Oh, my viewer counter appears to be working again. Bizarre. I don't know why that stopped working. Hey ho. Welcome one and all. This is me just logging in after Gary's funeral from a couple of nights ago, so I won't be on for long. This is not going to be a long stream, hour or so, and then I'll be jumping off, hour and a half maybe. Tommy, welcome mate, thanks for being here. Like I say, I'm not going to be streaming too long here, wee hour or so, and morning Chad. So yeah, not gonna be on for too long. Just jumping on, wee hour, hour and a half, get back to base, do some looting on the way. Yeah, nothing big planned, nothing exciting planned. This will be a fairly, hopefully, touch wood, pretty quiet, uneventful stream, hopefully. I had to log off basically immediately after the funeral at GM a few nights back, so I didn't get back to Corona. So this is me attempting to do just that. The server is quiet, so I'm guaranteed to be shot and killed, because such is the way. I've got loads of food left over from I got that off, I think I got that off Worm. He didn't notice during the funeral. So that's now my prized possession. If he knew I had that, he'd go absolutely chicken oriental. Anyway, would. We've got loads of food. And we're full on food too. How are we doing for water? Yeah, we've got a full canteen and a full cooking pot, so water's not bad either. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape here. So yeah, I might go and do Galkino and maybe, is that a player there? Surely not, no. Hey, well, how's it going, sir? Welcome everybody in. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we'll probably go do Bogaratai or whatever it's called, and Galkino, and then maybe loop round towards Tricresta. Get a vibe for what's happening. Let's have a look, see if we see any choppers. A bit foggy today, innit? I'm not going to go into Pustoshka. I don't really see the point. I don't like going into Pustoshka if I can avoid it. It was a lot of fun, Chad. It really was. It was an awful lot of fun. And the fact that the only person to die was a Mango who was essentially slated to die as part of the fun, given who was in attendance, insane. That, like, I was very much ready for that night to go very seriously sideways, and the fact that it didn't astounds me, absolutely astounds me. I was like, Dam turned up, Woodsman and Fireflies were there. Like, there was about a million different ways that night could have ended very differently, and it didn't, and that's nice. That's nice. It was a lot of fun. Very, very. I think people underestimate generally how, like, people see the clowns as kind of chaotic evil, kind of lackadaisical, crazy people. Like, let me tell you, see, out of character, clowns are organised. Organised. That night was organised and choreographed to an absolute T. Security, all aspects of it. Incredibly well run night. I think I think the clowns don't get the respect they deserve. I'm guessing you were watching Harvey's stream, Chad. I'm guessing. I've not actually watched that back yet because I was there, but I wouldn't mind hearing what he had to say to his audience. I think, was Polly streaming it too? I know Polly was there because I was chatting to her. Whether she was streaming, I don't know. I didn't really see the point in streaming it given how many other people were streaming it. And well, Harvey was streaming it for sure. I know Worm didn't. For much the same reason I didn't. I did actually want to watch Harvey stream back because at one point one of the War Boys, I was sat next to Worm, and one of the War Boys came up to Worm and said, Harvey wants to speak to you. Can you come over and talk to him? And I don't know what, I mean, I can guess what that conversation was. I'm going to guess that conversation was Harvey saying, look, let's not do anything here both ways. Let's be chill and not do anything. I'm going to guess it was words to that effect. But I don't know. I've not seen that conversation yet. And I was too far away in character to listen into it. What I did think was very interesting as part of the whole night, probably the most interesting snippet from the entire night, was the clowns, well, Scuzz coming out as the leader of the clowns and saying, nah, we're going after Cleopatra. That for me was by far the most interesting aspect of the evening. The clowns actually coming out and going, yeah, no, we're not going to do this anymore. That to me was fascinating and unexpected, quite frankly. What have I got in this cooking pot? Random shit. I could actually, is there enough? Because if there's not, I'm going to toss this. Yeah, I suspect that was the case. There is an animal off to my right, but let's pop that 308 up to here. Why am I carrying a worm, guys? Why? Let's tidy things up a little. How much food does one guy need? Lots, it would appear. I hate having a... you wouldn't think it, given most of the time I do have an incredibly messy inventory, but I do hate having a messy inventory. It does annoy me. Right. Let's... I hope I've not got a cold. I'm away this weekend. I'm going to a musical festival this weekend. My first one in about 13, 14 years, and I'm very excited about it. I didn't even know about Tina's birthday run, so there we go. I did not know it was a thing. Oh, that'll be the rain on. Nice. This cross here, this little gap here always feels sketchy to me. Me no likey. Oh, you actually came up to the castle. I mean, if we'd known these were coming, I don't know what time UK would it have been? You got to remember that we're pretty quiet after midnight UK time as a rule, which is what, 7 p.m. Eastern US, I think. Like after that, it's not impossible that you're going to see somebody, but we are predominantly British, and pretty much all of us have jobs, so. As a rule, you ain't going to see us after 7 p.m. Eastern US. I mean, there are exceptions to that rule. Guys that work funny shifts and guys that stay up late at night because they're not working next day. Like, it's not an impossibility you'll see someone, but your odds are greatly diminished. Your odds are greatly diminished. But if somebody gives us a little heads up that something's happening, you're far more likely to see us. Yeah, so 4:30 Eastern time. Oh, that's quite early. That is quite early. 4:30 Eastern time is... What's that in real money? I kind of want to take that. But I don't really have room. So that would be like 9:30. I would have expected somebody to be on then. I don't even know what night it was, to be fair. Like I say, though, I don't know when it was. I don't know what people had on, whatever night it was. I don't even know when it happened. I know it was before the funeral, because I heard mention of it there, but... I'm surprised Roy didn't give us the heads up, to be perfectly honest. But there we go. Two cowboy hats in the one building. Nice. There's also the possibility that there was people... There is also the possibility that there was people logged in and they just weren't at the castle, you know what I mean? We're not... We try to avoid being base bitches, you know what I mean? So, a lot of the time we'll be logged in and not at Krona. I definitely wasn't. Well, I don't know what night it was, so I might have been logged in, I don't know. I don't know when the birthday run was, like I say, so... Like what night it was. I believe the top of those stairs is a spawn point for loot, but I never find anything there. I have gone into the habit of checking it though. But yeah, this will not be a long stream today. Friday. What was I doing Friday? Was I in or was I out? Friday. I genuinely don't remember. That's the honest answer. Friday. Oh. I was out on Friday. Wait, where's my knife? Where on earth did my knife go? Oh. Did I drop my knife? That is incredibly annoying. What did I do with my knife? How bad am I at this game that I just dropped my knife? I mean, I've got a hatchet, so it's not the end of the world, but... that's annoying. I would rather have had the knife, to be perfectly honest. I went to sharpen it there, and I must have dropped it. Let's do this and grab that other one. I literally dropped my knife there, and I'm not carrying a spare because I am bad at this game. I mean, okay. Oh well, not the end of the world, but annoying nevertheless. I could go back and check all those houses for it, but it's not that important, is it? This rain is suboptimal. Yeah, I was on a run on Friday with Bean and Worm. I was running. We had a bit of a northeast run on, sorry, a south run on Thursday, and I ended up logging out near Pusta. I got back and logged in roughly the same place as I did today there, near GM. And I bumped into Worm and Bean, and they were heading back south again, so I kind of went with them. Hello, anyone home? Wow, these guys have been busy building bees. These are our tenants. Hello, anybody home? Hello, hello. Wow. Jesus. Hello, you boys, are you guys there? It's Wolf from the web. They are not in. The only one I've not had 100. Oh, have I had it? No, I have had it confirmed. Yeah, I know in game now. Yes. The only one that I didn't know initially for certain was Roscoe. I knew he was hurt. I didn't know he was dead. I now know he's dead. I had that confirmed by Bean. So yes, I am fully aware. Well, that's why I was at Gary's funeral, of course, as well. So yeah, I am fully up to date with the massacre and all deaths. Yes, Wolf is now fully cognizant of all the casualties. At some point, I'm going to have to go up and see who's left of the host, and I actually need that and pay my respects. Why are you not swapping? Swap. Fuck off. Come in. Well, it wasn't a problem. I mean, the one nice is the wrong way to put it, but the one thing that gives Wolf some degree of peace is that beef was squashed before they passed, where Roscoe and Delilah passed, and we kind of went and, you know, we went respectfully, had a conversation with them, and left on relatively good terms. Because obviously I didn't know that her and Roscoe were going to die, so I'm glad that we went and made the visit that day and spoke to them, and that they didn't die with Wolf having, you know, raided them. I mean, I know we did raid them a couple of times that week, but like, at least we kind of talked about it after that. You know what I mean? Delilah, not to wish ill of the dead, obviously, but Delilah, I'm going to pick my wording carefully here. Delilah had a fitting outcome for her character, I think. It was a fitting and good death for that character. Does that make sense? And Roscoe too, actually. Roscoe's final stream, his kind of epilogue stream, was fucking incredible. And given what we now know from that stream, I think they both had incredible fitting deaths for their character. And I'm glad they perma'd. Not because I'm glad that they're dead. I'm glad that they perma'd. How can I put it? It was a good perma for the characters, I think. It was a fitting closure to those characters' arcs, in my opinion. Even though I know Roscoe and Delilah poured their heart into those characters, and I know that they're both gutted they're gone. I can't imagine much of a better send-off for those characters than the way they went, narratively speaking. So I hope that, well, I know certainly from Roscoe, I've spoken to Roscoe a fair bit, I know that from Roscoe's position, he is in agreement with that, if you know what I mean. So holy shit, do you know how rare these are? Do you know, this is Wolf's ultimate PID this here. See this here? This is Wolf's ultimate PID. And they are so rare. That is the second time on Doug I've ever seen one. Somebody brought me one before. Like, I just presume I'll never have one. This is Wolf PID. And you never, ever, ever see them. Ever. It's like a Wolf of Selene, like faction item or something. I believe. Like an old group in the server. I believe that's the case. These are super rare. I'm honestly astonished to see that. Why am I carrying? I'm carrying so much water. Like this can, let's empty this. I can't even remember if this is fresh or not. I presume it is fresh, but I'm going to empty it and not risk it. And then make myself a little bit lighter and give myself a spare bottle for the Tundra. Got an itchy arm. Right. So yeah, Wolf is, by the way, Wolf really liked Delilah. Wolf had a lot of respect and time for Delilah, and that's why Wolf was so upset about everything that happened with Delilah and Men of the North and us. That's what, like, Wolf really liked Delilah and had a lot of time for her, and so Delilah's death is going to be, and that's why when Delilah came up to visit with Ben after that, Wolf, she should have had a bullet in her head. 100%. That's a trip to the coast all day, every day, and she knew it. And they were fully. I spoke to her out of character about this, and she was fully expecting a bullet to the head. And the reason she didn't get one was because, you know, she got the sad dad routine instead, disappointed father routine, and it's because Wolf really liked Delilah. He really liked her. And he was really sad that she'd done that to the web. And now she's gone. So that's... He's pretty good. Wolf's pretty good. I'm pretty good that Delilah's gone from the server. Delilah, the character, has gone from the server. But I'm very, very excited to see what two talented role players such as E and B come up with next. Well, I know that they've started the new characters now. Shmi and Razzie. So I'm very excited to meet them in character and yeah, see what happens there. It's going to be strange. I'm just barreling in here. Just barreling in here. But this will not be a long stream, guys. Probably another 40 minutes, another 45 minutes, maybe, something like that. That's been dropped, I think. I don't think that's within the spawn radius of that Humvee. I think that's been dropped. Like maybe somebody's picked up off the Humvee, went, ah, I don't need this, and dropped it just next to it. I think. I'm actually very glad to see that Z, to be honest. This feels like it's been done recently, right? Fucking smoke grenades. Delilah's demise does not... It's not something Wolf is happy about. It's not like something Wolf takes any sort of pleasure from whatsoever. Not in the slightest. But Delilah was a hothead. She just was. Do you know what I mean? That is too slow, yeah. Delilah was a hothead. Actually. Oh, bloody hell, where'd this guy come from? I thought I heard one. You absolute dick. How many hits does that guy take? Do you see that? He's, oh, look at the state of this now. Look at the state of me now. So annoying. So annoying. I want that NBC hood. Did I have one hit in the sewing kit left? I think I did. I think I grabbed that sewing kit. Yeah, I did. Need to find a leather sewing kit. I mean, I just don't need that deer. Obviously I would normally go for it, but I don't need it. What I really would like right now is a leather sewing kit to repair my vest and boots. And I'm pretty confident we don't actually have any in base at the moment. Bizarrely, we're short on sewing kits and leather sewing kits. Are those green? You know what? They're green. And that trumps anything. And they're pristine, so I don't need to repair them. I'm doing it. But yeah, Delilah's death does not feel like... I actually want that. Does not feel like some kind of moment of triumph for Wolf in the slightest. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. That doesn't repair that, does it? No, I didn't think it did. It has to be a leather sewing, annoyingly. I'm very, very interested to see what happens to the host now. I really am. Why am I carrying this duct tape? Hey, Klaus. Fuck off, duct tape. I do think that the ramifications of that church night are going to be like, that is going to be a central narrative pillar for everything that happens on the server for a long time to come, I suspect. Months would be my prediction. Like, that'll be a... Why? Oh, because I picked up the... That must have been what I did earlier. I think that's what I did earlier with my bloody knife. I think I picked up a car, but I must have dropped my knife when I did it. I suspect that this will be something that's like is a kind of communal narrative reference point for a good while to come. Yeah, would be my prediction. Like so many sort of pivotal server protagonists dying in one sitting like that, you know. Still hear that bloody deer. Don't care. I've got cooking. My stove is badly damaged. I could actually do with replacing my stove at some point if I find a better condition one. My stove is pretty fucked. I dislike turning down a deer just sat there, but I just don't need it. And I don't need to put myself at risk for it. The loot here is no bueno. I guess we head up to Zab and see what we see there. Tricresta was a dry run. Klaus, I hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I've got a big music festival happening this weekend. Going with wife and kids. Very excited for that. We leave first thing Thursday morning for that. And then we're going away camp. Straight from the music festival, we're going camping for a few days. So I might try and get on tomorrow for a wee hour. But I certainly won't be on after tomorrow for a week and a half. This is the rarest thing I've found this wipe by some considerable measure. These things are rare. That's the second time I've ever seen one undug. I don't know how common these are either, by the way. I don't come across these very often. The clown noses. I mean, the clowns always seem to have loads of them, so they must be more common than I think they are. I guess they spawn at like the carnivals and stuff. I guess carnival masks and that, but I've not seen too many of these. I don't spawn carnival. I don't look to carnivals very often, to be fair. Sometimes if I go up to the one in Nevaya, you know, between Nevaya and Topple. I think what I might do is Zab. How much would that whistle be to you in trade if it's that rare? It would take a lot. It would take a lot to get this whistle off me in trade. A lot. Like, would I pay a lot for one? Probably not, because it's a PID item. Does that make sense? Like, I wouldn't pay a fortune for one. Because it doesn't, you know, it's just a nice niche item. You know what I mean? That's Wolf's PID. But, like, I'm not going to give you, like, that's comfortably worth, like, worth-wise, that's comfortably worth, like, a fully fitted DMR to Wolf. Would I pay a fully fitted DMR to get one off somebody? Probably not, because I'd rather have the DMR. Well, would I rather have the DMR? I don't know, it's close. That would be a tough call. I mean, it's of an equivalent rarity, as far as I'm concerned. What is with the Zeds today, man? They've all turned into bloody Terminator or something. If you wanted to buy that whistle off me, I mean, everything's got a price, right? But it would be expensive. Very expensive. Hey, Dylan, how goes it? Oh. Let's put it like that. Like, substantially more than a 4-dial. I would absolutely buy one off you if you found it. And I would pay handsomely for it. Like, I'm not going to let you rip the arse out of me for one, but I'd pay for it. Let's put it like that. It's one of those things, though. It's worth a lot more to Wolf than it is to anybody else, right? Like, we often find that we get a lot of there's a lot of guys that like to wear the medieval stuff, and we get hundreds of it at Krona, and nobody in the web cares about that. But I know that there are certain individuals in the server who really covet, like, the chainmail coifs, the chest plates. Like, they're really coveted by some people. I know some people in the server who really, really love, like, I know that there's some players out there who absolutely swear by the Pioneer with the proper suppressor on it. Pioneers are rare as hell in this server. They're not even a particularly good gun. They are quite nice with that, with the proper, non-bottle suppressor on it, like. And I think it's the only sniper that takes a proper suppressor outside of the VSD, I want to say. Citation needed. I mean, we're not counting the DMR as a sniper, right? So, VSD, I think, is the only one outside of the Pioneer. But Pioneers are a nightmare to come by. The only place you can spawn a Pioneer on Doug is police stations and police blockades, and the drop rate in police stations. Does it take a proper suppressor, the SV98? Does it? I don't think it does it? Because that's my favorite sniper. I hate having this damaged. It winds me up. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I'm not sure you're right. Because I've ran a VS89 a few times. It takes a bottle, obviously. It takes a bottle, I know that, but I'm talking about one of the... I always get the two... The normalized suppressor and the... What's the other one? I always get the two of them mixed up. Because I am bad at this game. You know, like, there's the Western one and the Eastern one, you know? I'm not sure the VS89 takes that. Whichever one it takes. Ooh. I actually do need that. What am I... Yeah, I can drop some 5.56 that I don't care about. I really need to get back to Krona. We'll do lower lop because we're over here anyway. Yeah, folks, there's certain people on the server I know love running the Pioneer with that suppressor on it. But it's hard to come by, man. The Pioneer is hard to come by. My restream is mucked off in my chat. I can't think of a gun that has more of a disparity in rarity on vanilla and Doug than the Pioneer. Like, you'll find, like, Pioneers are like 10 a penny on vanilla. You kind of move for Pioneers in police stations and that. But on Doug, they're super, super rare. And I mean really fucking rare. And with that proper suppressor, like Dean says, you're a ghost, man. You get a ghillie on, you get that suppressor, you get that proper suppressor on there. That is a setup, like. And it's a relatively easily obtainable setup in comparison to, you know, VSD, for example. Put it like this, I've had multiple people so far this wipe come to me and say, look, we would pay handsomely for a Pioneer. Like, way above what you would consider market rate. Give me a VS89 all day. But I can't remember if the VS... I'm going to have to check that. That's going to annoy me. I thought the VS89 didn't take a proper suppressor. I keep on saying that because you know what I mean. A non-bottle. A non-bottle. I've been tempted to go looking around for a Vicar talking like that. I love running Vicky as main, mate. I'm running this file for that reason, though. I like this file for that reason. I love the Vicky in this file. The VSS less. Vicky and Sval I'll run all day long. Does the Vicky take a proper suppressor as well, then? Does it take a... always get the two names mixed up. Normalized and the other one. Does it take one of them? Because if it does, I might go and try and hunt down one of those suppressors. Because I have a Vicky stash somewhere. That's part of the reason I love this file so much. Is that it's got the only issue with this file is the canted sights, right? You gotta fit a sight on there because the canted sights are so bad. Yeah, I didn't think the VS89 took a proper suppressor. I thought it was only improvised, but I wasn't certain. Which again adds to the reason that adds to the rationale for the Pioneer being so valuable, right? Yeah, like VSD or Pioneer. I know, yes, the Pioneer's hard to get hold of, but it's still easier to get hold of than a fucking VSD in it. You know what I mean? So, And a lot of the people that find a Pioneer probably won't want to run it. It's kind of niche. Aye, that's what I said, VSD. VSD takes one. SVD, whatever you want to call it. Z. You see him, bruv? I logged out Z down at near GM after the funeral a couple of nights ago, so this was just my run to come back home. And I'm just kind of looting. I've done try Crest and I'm just looting as I go. Z. Web represent. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the VSD and the SVD, whatever you want to call it, and the Pioneer are it. That's your options. That is your options if you want a formally silenced sniper rifle. Like a non-improvised silenced sniper rifle on Doug. Slim pickings. Slim pickings. Not this stream yet, actually, Z. And I've been up to try Cresta. I have been up to try Cresta. I'll tell you what I did find, though. I did find something very rare on my travels, though, Z. Near to Corona as well. I'll show you in a second once I've dealt with this. I found something incredibly rare. You know how rare those things are, man. That's the second time I've ever seen one on Doug. Ever. Oh, I would, well, they're empty, but otherwise I would have picked it up for ship. Somebody gifted me one of those whistles last wipe. Can't remember who it was. Very kind person. Wolf was insanely grateful. Yeah, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, out of the VSS, Sval, Vicky, Triumvirate, the VSS is the one I like the least. But, ooh, I mean, I don't hate a VSS by any stretch of the imagination. Let's actually do this. Let's do this. Thanks, Chad. The VSS is my least favourite out of the three. But I don't hate a VSS. I'll run a VSS all day long, don't get me wrong. I mean, the one issue with all three of those guns is that it's getting the ammo, right? The Vicky especially is hungry on that 9x39, man. It is a hungry hippo. And the problem is, if you've got 2 or 3 guys in your group all wanting to run Vickies and Svals, which we actually do in the web at the moment, then the issue is getting hold of 9x39. I mean, it's not as bad as like 5.56, but I mean, there's plenty of 9x39 out there, but like the Vicky chews through 9x39, man. It really does. It eats it up. Ooh, wow. That is not something you see very often. Random food out in the wild on Doug, like in off the coast. So, come on, the naked old man. Let's do it. Down you go. I'd like to find a leather sewing kit. Yeah, for how I play on Doug, I hate to say it, but the Vicar is my least preferred. That's. I was going to say that's an insane take. I don't think that. The problem with the Vicky, again, is that as much as I love the Vicky, and it eats people, man. It eats people for breakfast. But the lack of any suppression or the ability to suppress... I mean, I know you can put a bottle on it, but, I mean, come on. Come on now. The lack of... Hey, Mike. The lack of being able to put a suppressor on the Vicky hurts it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, Sval is always my preferred out of the two. Let's put it like that. These are all fine, aren't they? Let's check. Yeah, they're all fine. They're all fine, boys. I wish that was a leather sewing kit. I would have preferred that. What have we got here? Army pouch, empty. Okay. Nah, there is. I'd probably take a Sval over a VSS, but the VSS does have more range. I prefer the Sval. But the I ain't turning my nose up at VSS, let me tell you that right now. I ain't turning my nose up at VSS. No way. I will gladly take your VSS. All three of them, mate. All three of them are great. Have you met a bloke by the name of Tommy recently? There's been a Tommy in here chatting to me. Yeah, I mean, if I'm using 9x39, why am I not using one of the internal suppressed rifles in this? Yeah. I just think this Sval is such a good all-rounder, you know what I mean? The only issue, like I say, is the canted sights are fucking rotten. Absolutely Ming Mong. I hate them. I hate them. That is the one major negative. Have I met a bloke by the name of Tommy? I've not met a Tommy on Doug that I'm aware of in the last wee while. No, not that I'm aware of. There was a guy who's relatively new to the server who was saying that his character was called Tommy on here, chatting to me. The thing is, like, the Vicky eats people up, man. The Vicky doesn't get the respect it deserves. And the ammo's so much more plentiful on vanilla, right? Like, you never have to worry about, 30 round, I mean, I don't know what server you play, but like if I'm on Spaggies or even Karma Crew, you'll get your mags and your rounds for 9x39, no problem. Oh, I hate the canted sights. That's my point. Oh, I've met Tommy the Boxer. I don't think he's talking about Tommy the Boxer, see. Tommy the Boxer was on chatting earlier up the top of the stream. Tommy the Boxer spells his name with an H, which is the giveaway. He was chatting earlier on stream. He's watching the stream at the moment, or he was watching the stream. I'm gonna have to blank the stream for a second, guys. I hate the canted sights, is what I'm saying. That's my point. I think the canted sights are rank rotten. I run an ATOG 4 on my. Look, let's just be careful about meta stuff, Mike. I appreciate that you're trying to offer advice. Look, I use this is what I run. Bit of range, not terrible, not great close up. I don't love this sight. I think it blocks too much of the view, but you got your options then. If you're clearing Zeds from a chopper, you can get a couple far away, get a couple close up. That's my go-to. That's my go-to, is the ATOG 4. There's a note here. Can you hear me? Like, if I take this off, that is minging. That to me is minging. Like, what is that? What is that? Gross. Minging. Not a fan, to say the least. I might have to blank the stream here for a wee split second, boys. Potentially. Yeah, I will. Just give me 2 seconds and then I'll put you back on in a moment. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to roll a dial. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Let's head up and have... I was planning on heading back to base with that whistle, but I'm going to go and check Big Red, and I'm going to go and check the Humvee, and then I'm going to look back, and then I'm going to knock off. Get back to Crona, and then I'm going to bid you guys all adieu. But I'm close enough now to Lopa Big Red and Humvee that I like to go and check them, because I am a greedy, greedy little loot goblin, and I'm up here anyway, so this will be where I die for being greedy. No, you can't. No, when I say you can't use them, I mean I can't use them as in I find them terrible to use. You can't have an ATOG fitted and switch between canted. No, but that's why I run the ATOG 4, because, like I say, I find the canted, the intrinsic canted absolutely rotten. Absolutely rotten. No, you can't switch between the magnifying optic on the ATOG. Yeah, I mean, if you could switch between, like, marksman, but you wouldn't want the marksman scope on his foul, would you? Too much drop off, right? Right. Oh. Like, you just ain't got the range on this Val, have you, to like start putting marksman scopes and shit like that on there. Like, too much bullet drop in it. Too much bullet drop. Like, it doesn't feel like this Val would be rangy enough, right? I mean, I know you could do it, I get it, but like, my dream setup is like my ideal setup, if I have the choice, is the VS89 with the marksman on it and this Val with like the 4x ATOG. That's my if I've got an option, that's what I'm running. I ain't running this Tundra, I'm running the VS with the marksman. I'll tell you what, I'm getting my arse felt here. These Zeds are giving me a hard time today. Yeah, that's why I'm saying you wouldn't want to fit a... That's kind of my argument for not fitting a marksman to an S-Val, right? That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, I ain't using an S-Val at 400 meters, so why the fuck am I fitting a marksman to it, you know? You want to be, what, not to 250 with an S-Val, really? Wouldn't want to be any further than 200, 250 with an S-Val. At that point, I'm switching to my long rifle, right? Remember, all these opinions are from somebody who is a bad PvPer and bad at this game, so pinch of salt. Pinch of salt. Don't take your PvP advice from Wolf, let me tell you. Yeah, that's reasonable, Dylan. Like, if you're wanting to keep a shoulder free, but then like, if you have a marksman scope, if you're running one rifle and you're using the S-Val and you've got the marksman scope fitted, what are you're like hip firing for close range? I don't know, man. I ain't feeling it. That's why I think the ATOG 4. Like, if you want to one rifle it, keep a shoulder slot free. S-Val's a great choice, but I'd go for either the ATOG 6 or the ATOG 4 personally. I think having that variability is better. The SKS is pound for pound, right? In terms of availability of bullets, in terms of how obtainable it is on Doug. Hey Gusto. In terms of how available it is on Doug, in terms of how available the bullets are, the SKS pound for pound is the best gun in Doug. And I will not broker any alternative opinion. The SKS is the best gun in Doug. Like, it's not the best gun in Doug. I get that. That's not the point I'm trying to make. Like, in terms of availability of the gun and the bullets, and you know, the internal magazine, the damage you can do, you slap a PU scope on there and you're fine up till 200 meters, 300 meters, you know what I mean? Like, SKS is god tier on Doug, in my opinion. I think I really like the Mosin. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, in terms of value for money, SKS is absolute S tier, best rifle in the game. Mosin's really good. But I find it, how can I put this? Like, the jump from the SKS to like the S-Val is closer, in my opinion, significantly closer than the jump from, say, a Mosin to a Tundra. Does that make sense? Like, if you're talking about the next tier of rifle, you know, your 550s, your Tundras, then going from like an SKS to an S-Val or something like that. The SKS is closer to those rifles than the Mosin is to a Tundra. Does that make sense? Maybe that doesn't make sense. I know what I'm trying to say in my head. Like, going from a Mosin to a Tundra feels like a much bigger upgrade than going from an SKS to an S-Val. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I love me a Mosin. I love me a Mosin. Hey Beer, how you getting on, bud? But yes, in terms of straight value, I think saying the Mosin is, like, SKS is definitely number one, 100%. And I would not argue with somebody who wanted to put the Mosin in at second. I wouldn't. I think that's an entirely fair opinion. Like, it's quite easy to get an SKS Mosin loadout on Doug, relatively speaking. In the Doug economy, the SKS Mosin setup is relatively easy to obtain. But I'd rather have a Tundra or a 550 than a Mosin. I would. I'd rather have a Blaze than a Mosin. That one's closer. The fact that there is no way to suppress a Blaze at all. Blaze does not get the respect it deserves. Do you know what I mean? Blaze does not get the respect it's due. You double hit somebody with a Blaze, they are down. They're sitting down. You know what I mean? But no suppressor, man. Not even a bottle. That hurts it. That really hurts it. Not even a bottle, man. Blaze is a great rifle. It hits like a horse. It hits like a horse. I like, if I'm coming off the coast, getting my hands on an SK, yeah, exactly. Blaze on double is just, it is end zone. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure you hit, of course. Gotta make sure you hit. But if you hit, you've won. Or you should have. You should have. I'm just heading back to Krona now, guys. Sorry, this has not been a very long or a very entertaining stream, but I thought I'd jump on for a wee hour. How long have I been on for? Not long. Yeah, over an hour, a little over an hour. I'm just going to bimbo back to Krona now, and then I'm going to be logging off. But 27 of you's watching. That is lovely. Thank you all for being here. That's a lovely number to see. I'm glad that you haven't all forgotten about me. Yeah, Blaze is. But that's the thing. This kind of comes back to my rationale for the Mosin being less important. There's quite a lot of reasonable rifles that are fairly easily obtainable. Like when you're coming in off the coast, like, okay, I was going to say a 5.27. You don't really want to be running a 5.27, but 5.27, Mosin, 550, Blaze, Mosin, they're all pretty interchangeable, right? But see, when you get an SKS, that feels like the game changer. You've got to be going something to level up from an SKS, right? But you'll find a long rifle, and of course it's now easier. I was going to say it's easier to find scopes. It's not easier to find scopes, but they're repairable now. So your long rifle setup should take care of itself. Does that make sense? Like, if you're out there and you're playing properly, you will find a long rifle and you will find a scope for it and you'll find the ammunition. But getting that SKS, man, because you will get the ammo for the SKS. The ammo, there's plenty of 7.62 short kicking about. You will find that ammunition. It's not like 5.56 or 9x39. It honestly feels like we're constantly swimming in 7.62 long and short, though. It really does. Look at that. Look at that. Fucking beautiful, beautiful baby sat there. I might go and shoot up Northern Oasis tonight for living in a shithole. I'm not going to do that. I like the Northern Oasis guys. They're good. Krona is the prettiest castle in the game. It is. It's also not. It's also probably the worst castle in the game to build in, for lots of different reasons. By the way, that sport point site is decent. I'm shocked at how reasonable that is. Like, you will find one, and it's all right. It's not bad. It's a pretty decent wee scope. I mean, I know it's only 2x, but quite like it. I really like that sports site scope. Decent. Like it. It's a decent scope. I'd probably rather run it than a... I mean, I know that it's not interchangeable in most rifles, I get this, but I prefer it to, let's say, like a PU, probably. Way back, Host was actually going to live in Krona before Host was even called Host. Krona is a nightmare to build in. The grounds around it are not very flat. Building in it is difficult for various reasons. It's also more overlooked than you think. If you're up this neck of the woods, it's quite overlooked. If you get up in these trees up here, anybody watching Highlander stream last night will know that, you know, there are some overlooking issues. However, from the main tower, which we use as our kind of main tower, funny old thing, like, the views you get from up there, pretty good. And it's the way it's sat on the side of the cliff is just, I think Krona's beautiful. I really do. I am biased, obviously, but I really do think Krona is a banger of a castle. Best looking castle in the game, probably the worst castle to build in, though, which I'm guessing is the reason nobody had really based out of it before now. Not last wipe, wipe before last. The woodsman had like I wouldn't even call it an embassy. They had like a secondary encampment there. Well, let's not talk about that. What's going on with food today, man? What is going on? What's this all about? Why am I finding like actual food on Doug off the coast? What is the world coming to? But we know we're aware of the weak points now, right? Like some of them you can't do that much about. Some of them you can. But this is our second wipe living at Krona now. And we've Umbra did an incredible job of like figuring out how to build certain aspects of the castle. I wasn't here for even building any of Krona this time round. I was offshore from the wipe and I missed most of the build phase. Umbra's got that nailed. But there's only so much you can do with certain aspects of it. There's definitely better castles to build in game. Like Devils, I'd imagine it's way better to build in. Way easier, way better. But Krona's prettier. Ain't nobody gonna tell me otherwise. Just need to check something. There we go. Well, thank you all for being on for the past wee hour or so. I know it's not been a long stream. I'll try and jump in for a wee hour tomorrow. So I might actually be on tonight. What, this tower here? This one here? Yeah, I mean, it's like... I think being up the main tower is actually better, to be honest. Having somebody on both is OP, though. Defensively speaking. But yes, Krona definitely has some issues defensively. Yeah, I mean, we get an awful lot of like 550s, blazes, crossbows, medieval armor. What did I just say? What did I just say? What did I just say? I literally said it. Yeet. Right, I'm going to blank the stream. I'm not going to turn the stream off quite yet, guys, but I'm going to blank the stream because you don't get to see any of my secret code locks, I'm afraid. That information is denied to you. So I'm just going to pop that off. But yeah, I need to come and see the hosts soon and do that RP, and I was going to say I'm dreading it. I'm not dreading it. I am really looking forward to it. Wolf is dreading it. Wolf is dreading it. He doesn't even know if he's going to find the host. Right, let me unblank the stream because I'm not going to go up to tower right now. Let me do this. But like working out how best to set like this, like for example, I mean it's well known now if you've watched various streamers and Doug, this corridor is like fully sightable from Zab. Like this little corridor here, this little stretch, and it's kind of limited what you can do about it, you know. There's lots of weird little idiosyncrasies with Krona. Like we've got, like honestly, we are swimming in SKSs. Oh, see if I'm one of them. This is just, you know, outside stuff. I'm going to log off in a minute anyway. Random junk. Random junk. Oh, skis or guitar. Skis or guitar. field shovel. Why is somebody leaving a field shovel here? Yoink. Oh, that might be there for a reason, actually. I'm not going to take that, because that might be there for... That might belong to somebody. I'm not going to take it for that reason. Right, guys. It's lovely to have so many of you watching. It makes a nice wee change. I appreciate you all. I'm going to get into the... I'm going to get into the cooking shed here, and I'm going to log off. I look like a bag of shit because my vest got all raxed. I know it wasn't a particularly exciting stream in terms of stuff happening, but the goal was just to have a wee hour with you guys. We quiet run back up to Krona. We looked at Tricresta. We looked at a wee bit a lot than lower industrial in that. We found that whistle. Which was a big find. And super, super, super rare. So I'm pleased to see that. And we didn't die. So, like, winner, chicken dinner, I guess. All we could really hope for. I might stream tonight. I might be on tonight. I'm expecting to be on tonight. I'm expecting to be in Doug tonight. Whether I stream, I don't know. Mufasa, thank you very much for being on. Me and Mufasa had an incredible RP session a few days ago. He was incredibly kind and patient with Wolf and sat down and gave me like a 45-minute lecture on what happened at Mogilevka Church, and it was very heavy. And yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah, it has been a bit. I've not been streaming as much for various reasons. I've not been on Doug as much as I should be, but yeah, thanks very much for the like and the sub, Mufasa. But yeah, some really good RP with Mufasa a few days back. Have I got anything else to say? I don't think so. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to be playing in Doug tonight at some point. What I'm going to be doing, I don't know. Am I going to stream it? I don't know. It depends what we're doing. But I am intending on being on tonight. I probably will stream tonight. I haven't done an evening stream in a while. And part of that is because I'm often competing against other people. But like Delilah, and that's probably going to be streaming. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I could actually do with going out. Well, not Delilah. You know what I mean. Razzie, whatever she's called now. But yeah. If I don't see you today, I'll at some point in the next 24 hours I'll be streaming and I'll catch you then. Thank you very much for being on. It's lovely to get such high numbers on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll maybe see you tonight. Catch you later. Love you. Bye.